They mock me like my feelings didn't exist. But karma has a funny way of waiting for the perfect moment. And when it struck, it was beautiful. I could still hear the laughter from that night. It wasn't the kind that warms your heart. It was sharp, hollow, and cruel. The kind that slices through your confidence and leaves scars you can't see. That was the night my so-called friend decided my body was her entertainment. My name is Ryan Cole, and this is the story of how a single cruel joke at a birthday party became the moment that changed everything. The moment when karma finally spoke louder than their laughter. Before we dive in, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. It encourages us to share more stories that heal the soul and remind us we're not alone. Let's begin. It was supposed to be a simple Friday night. Music, food, laughter. A birthday celebration for Sienna, one of those people everyone seemed to orbit around. She was magnetic, confident, beautiful, the type who could make you feel seen one moment and invisible the next. Sienna and I met during our sophomore year of college. We worked on group projects together, studied late at the library, even shared secrets about people we pretended not to like. She once told me I was the nicest guy she'd ever met. And stupidly, I believed her. So, when she invited me to her 22nd birthday party, I thought maybe, finally, I was part of her inner circle. I remember standing in front of my mirror for nearly an hour that evening, trying to pick something that didn't make me look as big as I felt. A navy button-up, black jeans, a jacket to hide the parts of myself I couldn't yet accept. I took one last deep breath before stepping into the Uber, whispering, "Tonight's gonna be different." Her apartment was glowing. Warm lights, expensive perfume, and laughter spilling through the hallways. The kind of night that feels alive. When she saw me, she smiled. That perfect smile that could make anyone feel like they belonged. "Ryan, you made it," she said, pulling me into a hug that smelled like vanilla and champagne. People turned, looked, whispered. I could feel my heart pounding in my ears. She dragged me toward the center of the room. "Everyone, this is Ryan. The sweetest guy I know. My favorite study buddy." Applause. Smiles. I laughed awkwardly, trying to play along. But then the tone shifted. She picked up a fork, tapped her glass, and said, "Okay, before we cut the cake, I think Ryan deserves the first slice. He's earned it." Everyone chuckled. I smiled, unsure where it was going. Then her friend Chloe, tipsy, loud, and always looking for attention, shouted, "Just make sure there's enough left for the rest of us." The room burst into laughter. And Sienna, she didn't stop it. She laughed, louder than all of them. That sound, it pierced me. It was the sound of betrayal. My cheeks burned. I tried to joke it off, saying, "Guess I'll take half then, right?" More laughter. But no one saw the way my hands trembled. No one noticed how small I felt in that moment. I excused myself, pretending to take a phone call. My throat tightened as I walked out the door, the laughter still echoing behind me. Outside, the air was cold, painfully real. I walked for miles, not caring where I was going. My chest ached, not from the cold, but from shame. They didn't just call me fat that night. They made me feel like a joke, like my existence was the punchline. For weeks, I replayed that night over and over. The laughter, the stares, the sting in Sienna's voice when she said first slice. I stopped answering texts, stopped going to class, stopped caring. Until one night, while scrolling through old photos, I found one from that party. Me in the background, smiling. But my eyes looked dead. Something snapped. Not in anger, in determination. I whispered to myself, "They'll never laugh at me again." I started walking every morning, then jogging, then running. At first, I could barely last 10 minutes without gasping for breath. But I pushed, day after day, night after night. The scale barely moved at first, but my mindset did. I wasn't trying to be skinny. I was trying to take my power back. Months passed. The mirror started showing someone different, someone stronger. My reflection began to match the man I always wanted to be. Every bead of sweat, every early morning run, every skip party was a step towards something bigger, self-respect. And one day, karma started its quiet work. 2 years later, I was working for a marketing firm that handled influencer campaigns. We had just landed a big account, a luxury wellness brand rebranding for young audiences. At the partnership meeting, the influencer we were collaborating with walked in, and there she was, Sienna. Same perfect hair, same practice smile. But when her eyes met mine, that smile froze. "Ryan," she said, blinking in disbelief. I nodded. "Hey, Sienna. It's been a while." Her voice trembled. "Wow, you look different." I smiled. "Yeah, I guess we both changed." The rest of the meeting was awkward for her. She kept losing her train of thought, fumbling over her words. I stayed professional, calm, even kind. When the campaign ended, her payment needed final approval from me. I didn't gloat. I didn't mention the past. I just smiled and said, "Glad we could work together again. You did well." The look on her face said everything. That night, she posted a quote on Instagram. "Be kind to people. You never know who you'll need tomorrow." I didn't like it. I didn't comment. I just smiled because I didn't need to. Karma already had. They say success doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. And in my case, it whispered softly through every door that once slammed in my face. After that campaign, my name started circling quietly through the industry. People began to notice my work, the precision, the creativity, the results. And every time I signed a new client, I remembered that cold night outside Sienna's apartment, when I promised myself I'd never let humiliation define me again. But life has a strange way of looping people back into your story, especially the ones who once hurt you. An unexpected message. It was a rainy Thursday when I got a message on Instagram. The notification popped up while I was mid-meeting. "Hey Ryan, it's been a while. Mind if we catch up? Sienna." For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to delete it to keep my peace. But curiosity, it's a powerful thing. So I replied, "Sure, coffee." We met the next day at a cafe downtown. When she walked in, I barely recognized her. She was still beautiful, but there was something heavy in her eyes, the kind of weight no makeup could hide. "Ryan," she smiled, her voice soft. "You look incredible." "Thanks," I said, sipping my coffee. "You seem different." She sighed. "Yeah, life's been complicated lately." Then, as if confessing to a priest, she started talking about how her influencer career was slowing down, how brand deals were drying up, how her followers had started calling her fake. "I feel like I'm falling apart," she whispered. "Everyone thinks my life's perfect, but I'm just tired." I listened, quietly, because that's what she'd never done for me. And in that silence, I realized something. I didn't hate her. Not anymore. Her karma wasn't a loud explosion. It was slow erosion, the kind that eats away from the inside until there's nothing left to hide behind. After a pause, she looked at me, eyes glassy. "Ryan, do you remember my 22nd birthday?" I nodded slowly. "How could I forget?" She swallowed hard. "I've thought about that night a lot. Why I said what they said. I was so stupid." Her voice cracked. "You didn't deserve that." For a moment, time stopped. The air between us was thick with everything we never said. She continued, "I was insecure. About everything. My image. My body. My life. So I made jokes at other people's expense because it made me feel in control." I sat there, silent. Not because I didn't have words, but because I didn't need to say any. She took a deep breath. "I'm sorry, Ryan. Truly. You didn't deserve that humiliation. You were always kind to me, and I used that against you." Her voice trembled, and for a split second, I saw the girl she'd once been. Not the confident influencer, but the insecure young woman behind the mask. "It's okay," I said quietly. "You were young. We both were." Her eyes widened a little, as if she expected anger. But what she got instead was peace. Because the truth was, I had already forgiven her. The moment I stopped letting her define my worth. After that coffee, we stayed in touch. Nothing romantic, just human. She'd message sometimes, asking for advice or venting about her life. And then, one day, she told me she was launching a small skincare brand. "It's my comeback project," she said. "Something real. I wanted to be about self-worth and confidence." I smiled. "That's good. Sounds like growth." A few months later, fate decided to show its sense of humor. Her brand was struggling to gain traction, so she reached out asking if my firm could help with her marketing strategy. I said yes, not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted closure. When she walked into my office for the pitch, she froze for a moment. The last time we'd shared a room like that, she was the star, and I was the forgotten one in the corner. Now, the roles had reversed. She sat across from me, nervous, fidgeting with her pen. "Wow," she whispered. "You really built something." "Yeah," I smiled. "Piece by piece." The presentation went smoothly. My team loved the project, and so did I. But more than anything, I loved the quiet realization in her eyes that the boy she once mocked had become the man she now admired. After the meeting, she lingered a moment longer. "Ryan," she said softly, "you've changed. But not just the way you look. Everything about you feels stronger, happier." I looked at her, really looked, and I saw it. The cracks beneath her practiced smile. The exhaustion, the fear of being forgotten, the desperate need for validation. That used to be me. And now, it was her turn to learn what happens when you live for approval instead of authenticity. "I found peace," I said quietly, "when I stopped chasing people who laughed at my pain." Her lips trembled. "You mean me?" I didn't answer. I didn't have to, because sometimes silence is the loudest truth. A few weeks later, our campaign went live. It was beautiful, raw, emotional, and real. Sienna's brand suddenly gained traction, and her followers praised her honesty and transformation. She sent me a thank you message. "Ryan, I couldn't have done this without you. You're a blessing. But here's the thing about karma. It doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it teaches." And watching her grow, watching her finally see people beyond herself, felt like healing. That night, I looked at an old photo again, the one from her party years ago. The version of me in that picture looked so fragile, so desperate to be liked. I whispered to that version of myself, "You made it, and you did it without hate." Because revenge fades, but growth echoes. And that's the real victory. I used to think karma meant punishment, that the people who hurt us would suffer the same way we did. But over time, I learned something deeper. Karma isn't always cruel. Sometimes it just holds up a mirror and lets you face what you've become. And that's exactly what was happening to Sienna. Months after her skincare brand went viral, Sienna became a trending topic again. Not for her success, but for her scandal. It started with a leaked video, a behind-the-scenes clip of her yelling at an employee. It wasn't pretty. People who once adored her began calling her fake, hypocritical, and manipulative. The same followers who had praised her authentic journey were now tearing her apart. I scrolled through the comments one night. Thousands of strangers dissecting her every word, her tone, her body language. And for a brief moment, I remembered how it felt to be on the other side of their laughter. She had spent years crafting an image of perfection, and in the end, that image was the very thing that shattered her. One night, my phone buzzed at 1:23 a.m. It was her. At first, I hesitated. Then I answered. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Ryan, I don't know who else to call." I could hear her sobbing. "They're all gone," she said between breaths. The brands, the friends, everyone. They left the moment things got ugly. I sat there in silence, the weight of her words pressing against my chest. For the first time in years, I heard her. Not the confident girl with sharp jokes and a perfect smile, but a broken human being. "I can't do this anymore," she said softly. "I built everything to look strong, but I'm so tired of pretending." There was a long pause. Then she whispered, "You must hate me, after everything I did." I took a deep breath. "No," I said gently. "I don't hate you, but I do hope you finally understand how your words can break someone." She cried harder. "I do," she whispered. "I really do." We met the next day. Same cafe, same table. But this time, she wasn't wearing makeup. No designer clothes. Just a gray hoodie and tear-stained cheeks. "I lost everything," she said. "And the worst part is, I think I deserved it." I shook my head. "No one deserves pain, Sienna. But we do deserve the lessons life gives us." She nodded, staring at her cup. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked quietly. "All the time," I admitted. "But not for the reason you think." She looked up, eyes searching mine. "I think about it, because it taught me who I never want to become. It showed me that real strength isn't in making people laugh at someone else. It's in helping them stand when they fall." Her lips trembled. "I wish I could take it all back. You can't, I said softly, but you can make it mean something. That day, she asked if I could help her rebuild, not her brand, but herself. We spent weeks working quietly. No cameras, no social media, just conversations, long walks, realness. She started volunteering at shelters, mentoring young women about online bullying and self-image. She began using her platform, not to promote products, but to promote healing. And slowly, people began to forgive her. Not because she asked for it, but because they saw she meant it. And in helping her rebuild, I realized something about myself too. I wasn't her victim anymore. I was her reminder that people can change when they face the reflection of who they once were. A year later, I attended one of her new events, a seminar on authenticity and self-worth in the digital age. She stood on stage, speaking to hundreds of young people. Her voice trembled at first, but then grew steady. I once hurt someone I cared about, she said, her eyes finding mine in the crowd. And I did it because I hated myself. But that person taught me what forgiveness looks like, and that's what saved me. I smiled, not out of pride, but out of peace, because I realized that night. Sometimes, karma isn't there to destroy us. Sometimes it's there to wake us up, the quiet redemption. After the event, she found me backstage. You came, she said, smiling shyly. I said I would, I replied. Thank you, she whispered, for not giving up on me. I shook my head. You did that part yourself. She laughed softly, a different kind of laugh this time. Gentle, honest. And then she said something I'll never forget. You know, I used to think being perfect made people love you. But turns out being real does. I nodded. That's the hardest lesson there is. We hugged. Not as old wounds reopening, but as scars finally healing. That night, walking home, I thought about how far we'd both come. Once, her words had shattered me. Now, her growth reminded me why forgiveness is the strongest kind of revenge. Life has a strange way of bringing people full circle. The same girl who called me fat now stood for self-acceptance. The same boy who once hid in shame now stood tall in peace. And that's when I realized karma isn't cruel. It's precise. It doesn't just return what you give. It returns what you need to grow. People often talk about karma like it's a storm, something that destroys everything in its path. But the truth? Karma doesn't always come to destroy. Sometimes it comes to rebuild what pain once broke. And for me and Sienna, that's exactly what it did. 2 years had passed since that night at her seminar. Sienna had turned her life around completely. Her skincare brand had rebranded into a wellness foundation that helped young people struggling with body image and self-esteem. She'd become a voice of authenticity, someone I now genuinely respected. We weren't best friends. We didn't talk every day, but there was peace between us, a quiet, unspoken bond that came from surviving the same story from opposite sides. Then one morning, my phone buzzed. It was a number I hadn't seen in a long time, Sienna's assistant. Ryan, she said breathlessly, Sienna was in an accident. She asked for you. For a moment, my body froze. Is she okay? She's stable, the assistant said, but she keeps asking for you. She said you'd understand. When I arrived, the hospital smelled of antiseptic and quiet desperation. She was in a wheelchair, arm bandaged, eyes tired, but smiling faintly. Hey, she whispered, her voice soft. Didn't think I'd see you here again. I smiled. You always had a dramatic way of getting attention. She chuckled weakly. Guess I still do. We sat in silence for a moment. Machines beeped softly in the background. Then she said something that caught me completely off guard. Ryan, if I don't make it, don't. I cut her off gently. You're going to be fine. But she continued anyway. If I don't make it, promise me something. Keep doing what you do, helping people see their worth. You changed me, Ryan. You really did. Her eyes welled with tears. You taught me that love isn't always romantic. Sometimes it's forgiveness. Sometimes it's just kindness from the person who had every reason to hate you. I swallowed hard, feeling my throat tighten. You're not going anywhere, I said quietly. But I promise. She smiled, that same soft, sincere smile I'd seen the day she first apologized. I needed to hear that, she whispered. For weeks, I visited her while she recovered. We talked, really talked, about life, fear, guilt, and redemption. One evening, she said something that stuck with me forever. I used to think karma was my punishment, she said, but now I think it was my teacher. It didn't ruin me, it rebuilt me. And she was right. Karma had rebuilt both of us, her from pride and me from pain. Months later, she surprised me with an envelope. Inside was a letter, handwritten in her careful cursive. Dear Ryan, you were the mirror I needed when I couldn't see myself clearly. Thank you for showing me that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself. If I ever leave this world early, know this. You changed someone's life simply by choosing kindness. And I hope you never stop doing that. Sienna, I kept that letter. Still do. Because it reminded me of something people often forget. Karma is not revenge. It's revelation. Time passed. I built my own consulting agency, mentoring young entrepreneurs who faced rejection and ridicule. I started speaking at schools about confidence, growth, and self-worth. And every time I told my story, I saw faces in the audience light up. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. The world is full of Siennas and Ryans, people who hurt and people who heal. But if we listen closely, every story of cruelty can become a story of transformation. One day, years later, I was giving a talk at college. Afterward, a girl came up to me, tears in her eyes. Your story, she said, voice trembling, it helped me forgive someone who broke me. And in that moment, I realized I had become her what I once needed someone to be for me. That's when I truly understood what karma had done. It hadn't just balanced things. It had passed the healing forward. Looking back now, I don't see that night at Sienna's party as humiliation anymore. I see it as the beginning of everything. Because sometimes, the people who hurt us the most are the ones who push us toward our highest selves. If she hadn't laughed that night, I might never have changed. If I hadn't forgiven her, she might never have healed. And in that strange, quiet way, we save each other. Karma didn't strike to destroy. It struck to teach. So, if you've ever been laughed at, doubted, humiliated, remember this. Your pain isn't the ending. It's the beginning of something greater. You don't have to get even. Just get better. Because in the end, growth is the loudest revenge. And peace is the sweetest karma. If the story touched you, don't forget like, share, and subscribe for more videos.